Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It is 8 o'clock, a little after, so we will go ahead and call the meeting to order. We do have a full representation. We have Sarah online there, and everyone else is here. We thank everyone for coming and appreciate your time that we're devoted during this busy time of Advent season, and appreciate everybody coming and helping us this morning getting some housekeeping items taken care of. With that, we'll go ahead and start with the public comment. This agenda item provides an opportunity for citizens to address the board of directors on any agenda item or other matters relating to the NTMC. The speaker will be given 3 minutes to address any item. Anyone wishing to speak will be courteous and cordial. Any person wishing to speak to the board of directors may do so either completing a request to speak card at the administrative offices or by participating virtually by utilizing the raise hand function when ensuring you're called upon, your camera is turned on and your name displayed. Citizens that are not able to connect to the Zoom meeting must email his or her public comment to sspell@ntmc.com no later than 12 p.m. on Tuesday, December 7th, 2021 to ensure the comment will be read. The board of directors are not permitted to take action on any subject that was spoken about. However, the board of directors may have items placed on a future agenda. Officers for study or direct officers to direct the study or briefly state existing NTMC policy or briefly provide a statement of factual information in response to the inquiry. Do we have any hands raised or any speakers presented?
No, sir, there's no one in the waiting room.
Okay, no one waiting here and no one with their hand raised. With that, we will go ahead and go to the consent agenda, item 1A, which is ratification of the contract executed by the interim NTMC president with United Healthcare Medical, Vision Renewal, Dental, Select Dental Renewal, Mutual of Omaha, Long-Term Disability, Short-Term Disability Renewal, and WEX Cobra FSA Renewal. Presenters, John Hendrickson and RJ Garza. Gentlemen. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I was thinking. We saw this. Thank you, Counselor. This is on consent, and we did see all of this at the last meeting. Does anybody have any questions or anything on this item?
And I think as a clarification point, RTD brought up, WEX Cobra FSA renewal actually does not need to be renewed at this time, so that one will not be authorized.
Okay. Counselor, you might want to turn your mic on so that, yeah, I know. I forgot mine too.
I'll repeat that. We don't need authorization for WEX for the Cobra FSA renewal.
Okay. So with that being said, does anybody else have any questions or anything, comments? Motion to approve consent agenda?
Move approval.
We have a motion and a second to approve consent agenda. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, please say no. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Next item is item 2A, regular agenda, presentation of general manager's monthly report. Mr. Garza and Luis Franco, if y'all would please make your presentation.
Thanks, Chair. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I'd like to begin with having an open discussion regarding ECTM's decision to eliminate routes 1, 21, and 22. The estimated total annual hours of service with those 3 routes is approximately slightly under 31,000 hours. This is about 25% of our overall annual hours of service that we currently provide. Moving to the slide.
Can you speak up? I can barely hear you.
Okay.
RJ, you may have to hold that microphone. real
All
close
right.
to you.
Let me start over, okay? Wanted to open the discussion regarding ECTA's decision to eliminate routes 1, 21, and 22. The total annual hours of service of those 3 combined routes is slightly below 31,000 hours. That's about 25% of our overall annual hours of service that we currently provide. You take a look at this slide. The can't see it here. Can we move that a little bit just so we can? Just to give everyone an idea of come January of 2022, the spring semester is when we start a regular service with UNT. UNT service is going to require 30 operators, connect routes. Now, with the elimination of these 3 routes, we'll need only 14 operators, and for access, we'll need 9, and we're also requesting 9 extra boards for a total of 62 operators. We currently have 60 operators. We had 62, but we promoted 2 of them to other positions. So we're back to 60 right now. And so 62 is very, it's a good number that we could work with and achieving by that point. So based on this information, we estimate that approximately a little less than $200,000 will be needed to cover the wages of the operators from 55 that was budgeted to 62. So by January by the end of January or our next meeting in January, once we have the actuals of the P&Ls from months of November and hopefully December, by that point, we'll be able to give you more details on that particular number. Right now, our estimate is about a little less than $200,000 is what we're going to need in wages. We may be able to use the current budget to offset that cost, but I just wanted to let you know that's where we're at. Okay.
Could you refresh my memory? What is extra board?
Extra board is that's a good question. Extra board is typically in any transit and is like your drivers that you have that can ride on any route. If somebody calls out, we use our extra board to fill in that slot. Or if somebody has vacation, an extra board person would fill in for that person. They're just like they fill in for you know, on a day-to-day basis throughout the whole week. So it's Monday through Saturday. So we have to cover 6 days and sometimes 7 because we have a UNT run on Sunday. So sometimes we have to cover that as well. So the extra board is used for that purpose. And that concludes my my report. In your packet, you have the rest of the information. Sean has been doing an excellent job conducting safety training and also new hire training. So I want to thank him for his work and everyone else. So we're excited about with this, you know, although we are eliminating 3 routes, it does help us from an operational standpoint. We'll be implementing a new run bid for January to run the spring semester. Any questions?
Everybody did receive the information on the decision by DCTA on the route, and then you can see Mr. Garza and Mr. Hickson went through and determined these results as to how they would have to adjust employees in NTMC to meet the services that are now going to be offered going forward. I believe it's effective December 25th. December 24th is the last day for those.
That's correct.
And they will be run through December 24th, is my understanding. Then on the 25th, those 3 items, those 3 items will no longer be. So
Yes, sir.
we appreciate y'all getting that done and looking at that, and it does look like it would fit into the budget.
DCTA did pass a budget amendment uh, to extend those additional services for the fixed routes and things.
Okay.
So there is money for the rest of the year for those services. And then I have a follow-up question, if I may, Chairman.
Yes, sir.
In the past, it was presented to this board that we were providing a bonus through December until we knew what was going to happen with the service. There were some questions about ensuring that practice was not going to continue after December, or December 6th. So I want to make sure that, because that's not budgeted to continue to have those.
No, it was only October, November, September, October, and November.
Right.
It ended in November.
Okay. So there's nothing else being offered. All right, thank you very much.
Okay. And then you also have in your backup there the ticket sales, the daily report, the staff and roster report went over, and the monthly financials. Does anybody have any questions or comments on those items that RJ has presented, or the other backup information that's in your pack? Okay. I don't believe there's any action to be taken on this, is it, Counselor? No. Okay, then hearing nothing on that, we'll move to item 2B, which is to discuss and take necessary action regarding extending the term of the Transportation Management Services Agreement provided by Henderson Transportation Group. Presenters once again be John Henderson and Mr. R.J. Garza. I believe, Mr. Henderson, you're on Zoom, if I'm saying that correct, sir? There you go. You're muted. There you go.
Oh, I apologize.
That's right.
For the contract agreement, we've got to notify the contractor at least 90 days in advance. The contract renews April 1, so we wanted to make sure that we brought this to the board and let y'all look at it. It is an action item today to extend the contract. HTG is requesting a 3% increase on the contract due to the fact that we've kept the contract the same amount since the initial term. With all the staff that we've added and everything, it's still, we kept it at that same rate. And so the 3% would be about $12,618. And we believe that the fiscal impact of that would be able to be absorbed in the current budget due to some, surpluses in other categories. So we don't think that'll have a impact to the budget. But just as everybody else, we've seen cost increases on health insurance and all those types of things. And so we would request that of the board and request to execute the extension. And so we present that to you today, and hopefully look for your input on it. And if you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer that.
Thank you, sir. Everybody has seen the copy of that in your packet there. Does anybody have any questions or comments on that?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
First comment. I'd like to thank Henderson Transportation Group for doing a wonderful job. Here's my question. Since there's this DCTA was discussing the transition of the bus services to another agency. If that, first of all, what is the status of those actions? Let's start there.
You're addressing me. So due to COVID, both agencies, Trinity Metro and DCTA, kind of pressed pause because we had these very large. Trinity Metro was also under a bus redesign of their network. So we've started those discussions again. I think there's desire by the board to continue, the DCTA board to continue to pursue agreements with Trinity Metro. I don't know at this point because we're just starting to have conversations again about what might transpire. We don't have a specific date yet in mind as to whether we're going to do it or not. Hopefully I answered your question.
That's very helpful. Yes. And then secondly, I didn't think to do this, so my bad, but in the event that were to come to fruition, what are the provisions for termination of the contract?
In the current contract, under 1.2, right now, and I'm glad I got both RJ and John here. Right now, if we terminate the contract without cause, so either with or without cause, so without cause, prior to the 90 days, you have the 90 days notice. By giving 90 days notice, contractor shall be entitled to compensation amount of $105,153. That's broken out as an early termination fee, $72,444 for the general manager, $32,709 the safety coordinator, who also serves as the secretary. So my question would be, is that amount staying the same? So early termination without cause, with 90 days notice, basically $105,153. And that, this contract total amount was $24,148 a month, which came to $289,776. Adding $12,618 to that total contract price. This for the next year would be $302, $302, $394. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. I guess the question is, would the early termination be the same?
As far as I know, it'll be the same. John, do you have?
I was just trying to see how many months that 105,000 represents.
You're on mute, John.
Well, it should be 12 months. Well, no, if it's 24.
I see what you're saying.
I was trying to figure out about 4.
Currently, the monthly fee is $35,050 and some change. That includes the 3 positions that we provide, which is the general manager, assistant general manager, and safety coordinator, and then of course the secretary and treasurer. So we provide the 3 full-time positions, and then the part-time treasurer and the part-time secretary. But the total amount of that contract is per month is $35,050.96, I think. And so basically that would be 3 months is the 105 is pretty close to that.
So
And
John,
regardless of what happens, well, and let me say this, regardless of what happens, within the next 6 months of the fiscal year, there's going to have to be a decision made by this board, you know, with guidance from DCTA as to what the next steps are. Because if you're going to have to go out for an RFP or something like that for management services, or if there's going to be some type of interlocal agreement with Trinity Metro, or, you know, there's just going to have to be some decisions that are made, because my understanding is this contract ends. This is the last option in this contract, and so there's going to have to be decisions made probably within the 6 to 7 months, so that you'll have time to do a request for proposals or negotiate anything on some type of interlocal agreement.
That's consistent. I would think about it. So.
Thank you.
John, do you have a total compensation amount for the year then? Because I guess the numbers are a little bit different. You're saying now we're paying, was it 30, 35?
The 24 was previous. It was when it was
The 24,000.
148.
Yes, sir. The 24,148 was for the initial 2 people, which was RJ Garza and Luis Francois. And then we added the additional services, which was the safety coordinator, secretary, and treasurer. Those positions was 130. That's the second amendment. And so the total for the contract currently is about $420,000 per year.
Okay, you're correct. That's my apologies. We didn't have the second amendment here in the packet. So yeah, you're correct. I recall making that addition. So
Okay.
And so
termination still remains. The early termination will still remain the same.
Correct. The only thing that we did is because we moved Sean from another property, and all of that, we added the portion to take care of him, because we were unsure of what the next step would be, and I've got to make sure that we're taking care of our employees as well as, you know, their careers as well. So that's why the cost is in there for the early termination.
The reason I'm asking is I'll be the one that has to draft it.
So does this amount include the 3% increase?
No, the termination wouldn't change. We would leave that the same. The 3% would just be an increase to the contract for us to continue on starting, and the increase wouldn't go into effect till April 1st of next year. And that's just due to the cost that we have insurance increases and other things, and to give our employees raises just like everyone else.
Okay,
I do have a
Yes.
question if this is appropriate.
yes. Everybody okay understanding that now, and the early termination fee in the contract right now? Okay, yes, sir. Sure.
So this is not a question of the amounts or whether the Hendrickson Group is doing a good job. I feel that they are. This is really, and Joe, I'm probably going to ask you this question. The term of this contract runs through April 2022. And if this is for a 12-month extension, that would take it into April of 2023. DCTA's board authorizes from September 30th or October 1st through September 30th fiscal year, the budget. And so I want to make sure contractually that we find the right language to, if the desire is to approve this today, I know we need to give 90-day notice, but the contract doesn't actually terminate for another 3 months. So I think the board does have time, but my concern really is if we, as a board, authorize the approval of this, we need to make sure that either DCTA board comes back and approves the funding into FY 2023, or we need to put language into this contract that says subject to additional funding by the DCTA board. So can you please help me?
Yeah, this board's got to, this board's contract is with this board, or with NTMC.
Correct.
It has to give the 90-day notice. The 90-day notice has to be given by September 1st. So if DCTA does not provide the funding for this contract, then we would be, this NTMC would be then obligated to pay that early termination fee of 105, 153. We got to get the 90-day notice. Right. There's really no option. It's not going to be a board meeting.
Yeah, it's not about giving notice. It's about authorizing expenditure for a year that goes into FY 23. That's the point I'm trying to make.
And all we're authorizing is to go ahead and give the 90 day. At this point, the board is giving the 90-day notice. We can bring the contract back. Even if we say approve, if we do say approve contingent upon DCTA funding, it's still an approval. We're still going to give the 90-day notice. We still would be obligated if DCTA said we're not going to fund this. We'd still be obligated to pay the early termination.
Well, is the solution to make the term that are 12 months, whatever it turned out, it's 6 months to the DCTA budget cycle? I'm just thinking out loud. I don't know if it's a good idea or bad.
That was what originally came into my mind is if we extended this for 9 months in September, how would that impact the, I think this is for John. John, how would that impact, you mentioned 6 months from now, we're going to have to make a decision to either go out for rebid or make a decision on whatever the path forward is going to be. The DCTA's board is going to have an offsite in the next probably month and a half, so we can get more clarity about the direction. Pardon, February. So my expectation is somewhere around June, July, we would be making some decisions about our go forward plan. I don't know that we would execute anything that quickly, but I was thinking that maybe September 30th, if we extended the contract through there, there's no reason why we couldn't come back and do another. Well, I guess we can't, right? Because this is the last year of the contract.
It's 1 year, additional 12-month period. We can always amend the contract. to change the terms.
To change the expiration date later.
But this
And
one's
we
gonna
agree
expire.
with your budget cycle.
Well, let me just say this, based upon, the way that we, apartments and all of those types of things, we have to secure apartments for 6 months or 12 months. And so, all of the staff that we've brought there other than Luis is, they have lived in other places. And so they're living in apartments. And so we have to take all of those things into consideration as well. And so I've got to make sure that I'm looking after the health of, the HTG employees as well. And so I just want to make sure that that's clear to this board that, we're not.
Typically,
trying
and
to-
then
We went through September, we're given a 90-day notice. Does that not
Typically,
cover?
typically in any contract that we have, when you're having management come in and assist with the transit system or agency, it's we're usually looking at 3 years to 5-year term contracts, sometimes up to 10 years, but most agencies do 5 years. So that's why it's kind of like when we're doing 6 months here and there, we're having to do apartments and without. So that's the reason.
And again, my concern is just making sure that we're not, that we need to go ask the DCTA board to approve that 3 or 4 months into.
I mean, I
2023.
wouldn't,
We'll do
you
that.
know, I don't see a problem extending the contract for a year pending DCTA's approval of funding and then maybe changing the dates at some point. But, I mean, we're asking for another year at least.
And I would certainly like to do that. I'd like for us to go ahead and do the year. We can do it contingent. I think it'd be okay if we did it contingent that DCTA approved the budget to fund that for the full year. If they choose not to, I think then we need to give them notice. We need to start on an RFP come January. If DCA doesn't want to do it, it's like, okay, fine. Then we're going to go out. What do you want to just quit the bus service, or what do you want to do? And maybe we put it to that point, direct to them, say, you want to continue the bus service, we need to continue this for 1 full year. If you don't, fine, tell us what you want to do, because these people are going to be gone. But you want to run the business.
So we still have to pay the penalty for term.
Correct.
But
Yeah.
but that's
It's just-
less than,
Again,
than.
as I stated before, this is a procedural, this is a
Right,
procedural.
that's what I'm
thing
saying.
we're
I
trying
think
to-
it'd be good for us to, I would like to see us go ahead and approve the contract for the year, contingent on
year,
DCTA agreeing to the contract for the full year.
understanding regardless, we're giving our 90-day notice, and then we pay the penalty.
Correct. Yeah. Would that be suitable for you, John, and for you, RJ?
Yes, that would be fine with me.
Sarah, do you have any comments on that or anything?
No, I'm fine with that. I think I agree with you that that seems to work, and we need to make sure we give them plenty of time. But we also need to have something in place so that we're assured of service.
So that
Yes, sir.
good
Thank
to
you.
you?
Yes, sir.
Somebody want to make that as a motion and then a second, and that way we can make the decision on this. Is that correct, Council?
Council, can you read what we think the motion is?
Motion to approve, the extension, transportation management services agreement between NTMC and Henderson Transportation Group, providing 90-day notice. 12-month extension depending upon DCTA funding.
With the 105,000.
Yeah, with
$153.
105,000. Sorry, with the 105,153 for early termination.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion.
Does that include the 3% for this coming year?
Yes.
Yeah, yes,
Motion?
correct.
Okay.
For the total. Yeah, what's the month, just so we know, what's the month, what is that, what's the monthly on that? We get that on.
With the 3%.
Yep.
35,575.75.
And that does also, that's the 12,618, right? The 3%, okay. That
The
breaks down.
the monthly amount would be 36,101.50.
Say that again, John, 36,000.
36,101.50.
50. Too many people doing math in here. All right, so that's 36,101, 0.50 monthly. Everybody understand what they're for?
So you include
It's just
that
a
in-
little over 1,000 a month.
Yeah, I'll clean it up.
or you understand?
I make the following motion.
All right, we're gonna make a new motion, sounds like.
The following motion, so it's clear. Move to extend the contract with Henderson Transportation Group for 1 year, beginning April 1st, 2022, with the 3% increase in salaries, which would bring total salaries on a monthly basis to 36,101.50, and with an early termination provision that we would pay $105,153.
They get it?
Subject to.
I think it's immaterial. The reason is, if they don't approve it, we just pay the 105.
Okay,
Thank Raymond for bringing it all.
Can people talk a little louder? I'm really having a hard time hearing exactly what the motion is.
Yeah, we're pretty quiet this morning for some reason.
Yeah.
All right, everybody cut off Sarah right now.
Yeah, I'm a little tired too, actually. We didn't finish till after 11 last night. I had to be at a meeting at 7, so it may be me.
an early night, huh?
Yeah, well, early one, actually.
Would you like for him to read that motion again?
Yeah, yes, please.
Okay, so my motion is to extend the management contract with Henderson Transportation Group for 1 year, beginning April 1st, 2022, with a early termination for a monthly amount of 36,101.50, which is a 3% increase over current compensation, and with an early termination penalty of $105,153.
Okay. Will that give us the, well, I better wait till someone seconds that so I can speak.
Tom, do you second that?
And I second the motion, thanking Mr. Suarez for bringing it all up.
So would that give us the opportunity, though, if we extend it starting in April, and the bus service for the DCH board was only approved through September of 2022, will that give us, I mean, will we have ample time then to know what DCTA is doing, or are we just going to go ahead and extend this contract for a full year? So it'd be April of 2023, correct?
Correct. I think that's the intent is we're going to end extending the contract through April of 2023. If something was to happen and DCTA does not approve a budget going forward for the bus service, then we would end up paying the 90-day service penalty.
Okay. I mean, if the majority feel like that's, we will end up paying a penalty if that happens. I'm not saying it will. That we know that going in, and I understand.
Okay, so anybody got any other questions or concerns on that?
I don't have a concern. It's just a technical comment that I would prefer the language to include subject to funding, because regardless whether we pay the penalty or not, it's not budgeted in the DCTA budget, but that's okay. The board can continue with its motion, make a decision. I may just abstain from that vote. It's okay.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Abstain. It's Randy Suarez.
And Member Suarez is abstaining from the vote. All in favor, all opposed, please say no. Motion passes. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. We do appreciate RJ and Mr. Henderson and all your staff there at Henderson Transportation Group. We appreciate what you've done for us and what you're continuing to do for us each and every day. I think things are running very smoothly. I know we have little hiccups here and there, but what business doesn't, especially in today's times, just with more than anything with employment status the way it is right now. So I appreciate all the work that all of you are doing on that.
Thank you, we appreciate it.
Absolutely. Okay, then we're going to move on down to, let's see, item C, which is the presentation of NTMC staff spotlight. I know we didn't really get to do that last week, but we're going to do it, last month, so we're going to be sure we did this month.
We can turn to that slide. Thank you. Well, this month's recognition goes out to Renee. It's Jacqueline Renee Nolan, and she's been with the organization since September of 2012. She's a mobility assistant, and for those of you that are not familiar with mobility assistants do, but she receives all the applications from all people that have that qualify for ADA or may not qualify. They submit an application, she reviews it. She has to go through each one, making sure that they are eligible and have all the proper information to go forward. She's been doing an excellent job in meeting those requirements. There are specific FTA requirements that have to be followed, and I'm just very proud of her. We all are, and I want to thank her. She's been also training other people that have come in to the system. So our hats off to Renee, and thank you very much, Renee. We appreciate your work. I don't know if Louise is on, or if she's driving today, but if Louise was on, she would have something nice to say too.
Is Ms. Nolan on with us, or is she not?
I don't think she is.
Okay.
I don't know that she.
Well, Ms. Nolan, on behalf of the board, we want to thank you very much for your work. I know it's the job you do is, as I'm sure, is a very heart-touching and heartfelt position to do sometimes, and sometimes you have to make some decisions that aren't always easy for you to make. So we greatly appreciate your effort. And from what I'm understanding, you do a wonderful job of making sure those who are in need are well taken care of. And we greatly appreciate your efforts and your commitment to making sure that these people in our organization is taken care of. And thank you very much.
I'd like to echo that sentiment as well. I can tell you that of all the positions at DCTA that serve the public, this one it is an amazing job. It's very complex, challenging. I sometimes get involved myself when there's questions about eligibility. This is a true calling to do this job well, and very much appreciate Jacqueline and all her efforts in making sure that DCTA's image and brand are viewed in the best light possible. So thank you for your service.
Anyone else have any comments or anything? Once again, Ms. Nolan, we thank you very much for all that you do in your continued service and work with us. Okay, we do not have any executive session to convene into. So the next item would be future board meetings and agenda items.
Chair Euchre, I
Yes,
do have one question. This is Sarah Hensley. Since we are extending the services for DCTA to 2022, and are we still doing the bonuses for retention and so forth? Is that still continuing since the board made the decision to extend the service?
The incentive bonus ended the end of November.
Okay, and the retention bonus, is that still in place, or
What was that?
retention bonus? Is the retention bonus still in place?
No, no. The retention bonuses ended November.
Okay, okay, I'm just checking.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. I know it's difficult sometimes to hear everything, so any questions you have, just jump in there. Okay, so future board meetings and agenda items. RJ, did you send that future agenda calendar out to everyone, or?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes, we did.
everyone received
Yes.
that.
And I added dates on there, just those are tentative dates. We're also, I know it's down the road, but we need dates for November, December for next year. But other than that, everything is in there in place. If there's any additional items that come in as we meet, we'll add those to that calendar.
Okay. And I like that. That's good because it gives everybody a chance to plan around those meetings. So if something does come up for someone, if we need to make an adjustment, just contact us, let us know, either me or RJ, let us know, and we'll look at making an adjustment that we might need, especially if it was some type of a thing that came up with the working NTMC, or some legal issue was to come up. Okay. Was everybody went okay with the January 26th meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any specific items for the January 26th meeting that anyone would like to make sure we have on that agenda? Okay, everything sounds great. I want to thank everyone for coming this morning and participating. And I wish everyone a blessed and very merry, happy Christmas. And we hope that you will pass this on to all the team members here at both NTMC and DCTA, that we thank them for their service, for their work, and we just wish them a blessed and merry Christmas. If there's anything we can do to assist in helping them, please just let us know.
Thank you very much.
Happy holidays to everybody, and thank
Happy
you
holidays. Merry
Happy
Christmas.
holidays.
for everyone's hard work.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Holidays to you too.
Bye-bye.
thank you. We are adjourned.
Thank you, everybody.
Turn off recording, please. Oh, okay.